Here's a detailed summary of AMD's Q4 2025 earnings call, designed for clear and concise reading. Introduction. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Advanced Micro Devices, Inc.'s fourth quarter and full year 2025 earnings call. We will primarily discuss non-GAAP financial measures today, with reconciliations available in our press release and on our website. Joining us are Dr. Lisa Su, Chair and CEO, and Jean Hu, Executive Vice President, CFO, and Treasurer. Please note that our forward-looking statements involve risks and uncertainties. CEO's opening remarks. Lisa Su. 2025 was a defining year for AMD, marked by record revenue, net income, and free cash flow. This was driven by broad-based demand for our high-performance computing and AI products. We ended the year with significant momentum across all our businesses: data center, PC gaming, and embedded. We launched our broadest set of leadership products ever, gained significant server and PC processor share, and rapidly scaled our data center AI business as Instinct, and RCM adoption grew with cloud, enterprise, and AI customers. Q4 2025 financial highlights. Revenue grew 34% year-over-year to a record $10.3 billion, driven by record EPYC, Ryzen, and Instinct processor sales. Net income increased 42% to a record $2.5 billion. Free cash flow nearly doubled year-over-year to a record $2.1 billion. Full year 2025 financial highlights. Revenue grew 34% to $34.6 billion, adding over $7.6 billion in data center and client revenue. Segment performance. Data center revenue increased 39% year-over-year to a record $5.4 billion, driven by accelerating Instinct MI350 series GPU deployments and server share gains. Server CPU. 5th Gen EPYC turned CPUs accelerated, comprising over half of server revenue. 4th Gen EPYC sales remained robust. Record server CPU sales to cloud and enterprise customers, exiting the year with record share. Hyperscaler demand was strong, with over 230 new AMD instances launched by North American customers. Enterprise adoption doubled, with over 3,000 EPYC-powered solutions now available. Data center AI delivered record Instinct GPU revenue, led by the MI350 series ramp. 8 of the top 10 AI companies now use Instinct for production workloads. The MI350 series is expanding adoption with existing partners and new customers. The RCM ecosystem expanded, enabling faster and higher performance Instinct deployments. The Enterprise AI Suite was launched, and a strategic partnership with Tata Consultancy Services was formed. Future outlook. Data center customer engagements for the next-gen MI400 series and Helios platform are expanding. Multi-year deployments are in active discussions. The MI400 series will expand the portfolio for various AI workloads. The MI500 series, powered by CDNA 6 architecture on a 2nm process with HBM4E memory, is on track for a 2027 launch, promising another leap in AI performance. AMD is well-positioned to grow data center segment revenue by over 60% annually over the next 3 to 5 years, and scale the AI business to tens of billions in annual revenue by 2027. Client and gaming revenue increased 37% year-over-year to $3.9 billion. Client PC processor business performed exceptionally well, with revenue up 34% to a record $3.1 billion, driven by strong demand for multiple Ryzen CPU generations. Desktop CPU sales hit a record for the 4th consecutive quarter. Mobile Ryzen PC sell-through was also a record. Commercial PC adoption accelerated, with Ryzen CPU sell-through growing over 40% year-over-year. New Ryzen AI 400 mobile processors and the Ryzen AI Halo platform were introduced. Gaming revenue increased 50% year-over-year to $843 million, driven by semi-custom sales and strong Radeon RX 9000 series GPU demand. Future outlook: gaming semi-custom SoC annual revenue is expected to decline by a significant double-digit percentage in 2026 as the console cycle matures. Microsoft's next-gen Xbox, featuring an AMD semi-custom SoC, is progressing for a 2027 launch. Embedded revenue increased 3% year-over-year to $950 million, led by strength in test and measurement, aerospace, and growing adoption of embedded x86 CPUs. Future outlook: embedded design win momentum remains strong, with $17 billion in design wins in 2025. New embedded CPUs and SoCs were launched, including Versal AI Edge Gen 2 and Spartan UltraScale Plus devices. CEO's closing remarks: Lisa Su. 2025 was an excellent year for AMD, marking the start of a new growth trajectory. We are entering a multi-year demand super cycle for high-performance and AI computing, creating significant opportunities across all our businesses. AMD is well-positioned with differentiated products, strong execution, deep customer partnerships, and operational scale. As AI reshapes the compute landscape, we have the solutions and partnerships for end-to-end leadership. We expect significant top-line and bottom-line growth in 2026, led by increased adoption of EPYC and Instinct, continued client share gains, and a return to growth in our embedded segment. We see a clear path to our ambitious Financial Analyst Day targets, including greater than 35% revenue CAGR over the next 3 to 5 years, significantly expanding operating margins, and generating over $20 annual EPS. CFO's remarks: Jean Hu. AMD executed very well in 2025, delivering record revenue of $34.6 billion, up 34% year-over-year, with 32% growth in data center and 51% in client and gaming. Our gross margin was 52%, and we delivered record diluted earnings per share of $4.17, up 26% year-over-year, while continuing to invest aggressively in AI and the data center. Q4 2025 financial details: Jean Hu. Revenue $10.3 billion, up 34% year-over-year and 11% sequentially. This included approximately $390 million in MI308 sales to China, which was higher than initially guided. Gross margin 57%, up 290 basis points year-over-year. This benefited from a $306 million release of MI308 inventory reserves. Excluding this, gross margin would have been approximately 55%, up 80 basis points year-over-year due to favorable product mix. Operating expenses $3 billion, up 42% year-over-year, reflecting increased R&D and go-to-market investments to support our AI roadmap, as well as higher employee performance-based incentives. Operating income record $2.9 billion, representing a 28% operating margin. Diluted EPS record $1.53, up 40% year-over-year. Segment financials: Q4 2025 data center revenue was a record $5.4 billion, up 39% year-over-year and 24% sequentially. Operating income was $1.8 billion, or 33% of revenue. Client gaming revenue was $3.9 billion, up 37% year-over-year, driven by strong demand for Ryzen processors. Client business revenue hit a record $3.1 billion. Gaming revenue was $843 million, up 50% year-over-year. Operating income was $725 million, or 18% of revenue. Embedded revenue was $950 million, up 3% year-over-year and 11% sequentially. Operating income was $357 million, or 38% of revenue. Balance sheet and cash flow generated a record $2.3 billion in cash from continuing operations and a record $2.1 billion in free cash flow in Q4. Inventory increased to $7.9 billion to support data center demand. Cash, cash equivalents, and short-term investments stood at $10.6 billion at quarter end. Repurchased 12.4 million shares in 2025, returning $1.3 billion to shareholders, with $9.4 billion remaining authorization. Q1 2026 outlook. Revenue approximately $9.8 billion, plus or minus $300 million. This includes approximately $100 million of MI308 sales to China. At the midpoint, revenue is expected to be up 32% year-over-year. Sequentially, revenue is expected to be down approximately 5% due to seasonality in client, gaming, and embedded segments, partially offset by data center growth. Non-GAAP gross margin approximately 55%. Non-GAAP operating expense approximately $3.05 billion. Non-GAAP other net income approximately $35 million. Non-GAAP effective tax rate 13%. Diluted share count approximately 1.65 billion shares. CFO's closing remarks. Jean Hu. 2025 was an outstanding year for AMD, reflecting disciplined execution to deliver strong revenue growth, increased profitability, and cash generation, while investing aggressively in AI and innovation. We are very well positioned for continued strong top-line revenue growth and earnings expansion in 2026, with a focus on driving data center AI growth, operating leverage, and delivering long-term shareholder value. Key takeaways and future outlook. Strong AI momentum. AMD is experiencing significant acceleration in its data center AI business, with strong customer engagement and roadmap execution. The MI400 series and Helios platform are key inflection points. Data center growth. The company projects substantial growth in its data center segment, driven by both EPYC CPUs and Instinct GPUs, with long-term targets of over 60% annual growth and tens of billions in AI revenue by 2027. Client segment strength. The client business continues to perform exceptionally well, gaining share with Ryzen processors and seeing growth in the commercial PC market. Capacity and supply chain. AMD is actively working with supply chain partners, including TSMC, to increase capacity for server CPUs and manage the ramp of its GPU products. Gross margin progression. The company expects gross margins to progress with new generations of products, with initial ramps potentially at lower margins that improve with scale and yield. OpEx management. While OpEx investments are accelerating to support the AI roadmap and growth opportunities, AMD anticipates revenue to grow faster than operating expenses in 2026, leading to operating leverage and improved profitability. China market. Sales of MI308 to China are included in Q4 and Q1 2026 guidance, but future sales are uncertain due to the dynamic regulatory environment. AMD is awaiting licenses for MI325. Gaming segment. The semi-custom gaming revenue is expected to decline significantly double-digit in 2026 due to the maturity of the current console cycle, with a reversal expected upon the ramp of next-generation consoles in 2027. This concludes the summary of AMD's Q4 2025 earnings call.